The alarm sirens howled through the Galactic Council headquarters, tearing through the stillness of the night cycle. Commander Zaleth's 4 eyes snapped open as crimson emergency lights flooded his quarters. He rolled out of his rest pod and seized his communicator with one of his 6 limbs. "Report!" he barked, his voice raw from sleep. "Sir, situation in Sector 7, came the trembling reply of the night officer. Something appeared in the Forbidden Zone. Zaleth felt a chill course through his veins. The Forbidden Zone. For over 3,000 years, that region of space had been marked as certain death. No ship that entered ever came back. No probe lasted longer than seconds. Radiation alone could liquefy standard shielding, but far worse things were said to exist there. Things the ancients refused to name. "What do you mean something appeared?" Zaleth demanded as he sprinted toward the command center, his multiple legs striking the floor in a blur. "A ship, Commander. It manifested on our sensors 20 minutes ago. The zone was empty, then suddenly, it was just there." Zaleth burst into the command center where dozens of operators from different species worked frantically. The main display filled the room with ghostly light. Sensor readings revealed a vessel beyond all known design. "Run full scans," Zaleth ordered sharply. "Identification, origin, anything." Technicians scrambled, data streaming across their consoles. 200 meters long, one reported. Hull composition, unknown alloys. Geometry, nonlinear. Radiation has 0 effect. Zaleth's mandibles tightened. "That's impossible." "Commander," another analyst shouted, "we're reading life signs aboard." Zaleth froze. "That's not possible. Nothing survives there. Run it again." "Already did, sir. 3 times. 40 life signatures. Consistent and stable." He leaned closer to the projection, studying the ship's silhouette. "Can we establish contact?" "We can try," the officer said nervously. "But, Commander, you know the protocols. The Forbidden Zone predates our civilizations. If something's inside it, perhaps it should remain there." Zaleth understood the fear. Every child in Council space grew up hearing the tales. Ancient defense grids still alive after eons, spatial rifts that shredded ships, radiation storms that roasted crews alive, and something else. Something whispered only in private by the oldest species. "Send a priority alert to all Council members," Zaleth commanded. "They need to see this. And find out what that ship is." The communications officer tapped rapidly, then hesitated, eyes widening. "Sir, I'm receiving an automatic identification signal. It's using primitive broadcast protocols." Zaleth's voice dropped. "What does it say?" "The ship identifies itself as the UHSV Melon. Registration indicates it belongs to something called the United Human Space Command. Humans," Zaleth muttered, his brow tightening as he searched his memory. The name was faintly familiar, a curiosity from some old report. "Are they in the database?" "Yes, sir," replied another operator, bringing up files. "Humans, classified as a newly emerging species. They achieved faster-than-light capability approximately 50 years ago. Their home territory is in Sector 42, far from the Forbidden Zone. Designated Level 2 civilization, technologically limited, aggressive tendencies, but not considered a major threat." Zaleth's mandibles clicked in disbelief. "Then what is one of their vessels doing here? It would take them months to reach this sector, and they certainly lack the means to endure that radiation." "Unknown, Commander," the analyst answered. "But records show it's been there less than an hour. It simply appeared. No warp signature, no transit traces." Zaleth felt his carapace tighten. "Appeared?" Ships didn't appear. They traveled, left energy wakes, gravitational ripples, something. "Unless... could they have developed jump technology?" he whispered. The command center fell silent. The concept existed only in theory, the instantaneous relocation of matter between points without crossing the intervening space. Every civilization had failed to master it. If the humans had somehow done it, the balance of the galaxy would shift overnight. "We need confirmation," Zaleth said firmly. "Prepare a remote probe. Maximum shielding. I want eyes on that ship." "Sir," the officer hesitated. "Shouldn't we wait for Council authorization before entering the zone?" Zaleth didn't look away from the display. "By the time the Council argues and drafts its precious reports, whatever answers lie there will be gone." We observe now. We justify later. Orders went out. The probe was launched. 30 minutes to reach the outer perimeter, 20 more to approach the vessel, assuming the radiation didn't vaporize it first. Zelith watched the countdown, his 4 eyes fixed on the silent image of the alien ship. Humans, supposedly primitive. Their ships crude, their weapons simple, their understanding of quantum mechanics embarrassingly shallow. And yet here one was, sitting where nothing should live. The probe crossed into the forbidden zone. Radiation alarms blared as its shielding strained to the limit, but it held. Cameras stabilized, focusing on the melon. The human ship floated serenely in the most hostile sector of the galaxy, utterly unharmed, as if the lethal storms around it were nothing more than a gentle breeze. Live feed filled the Council command screens. Zelith leaned forward, disbelief tightening his throat. No burn scars, no erosion, no stress fractures. The hull shimmered like new forged metal beneath the poisonous light of dying stars. "Magnify Section 4, he ordered. The image zoomed in, revealing strange painted markings across the hull, and beside them, a flag depicting scattered stars and stripes of red, white, and blue. "Those are human markings," one analyst confirmed. "We've seen similar insignia in the limited First Contact archives. That flag represents one of their old nation-states from their homeworld. Can we open communication?" Zelith demanded. "Attempting, Commander. Their transmission bands are primitive, different from Council standards. We're working to synchronize frequencies now." Before he could finish, the comms channel erupted with static and a harsh, unrefined voice broke through, filtered through the struggling translation matrix. "Unknown vessel. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the United Human Space Command ship Melon. We register your attempt to contact us. Identify yourselves and state your intentions. We are on a peaceful research mission." Zelith snatched the communicator. "Captain Chen, this is Commander Zelith of the Galactic Council Security Force. You are in a restricted and highly dangerous region. How did you arrive here?" A short silence followed before the human captain's voice returned. "Galactic Council. We are not familiar with that entity. As for our arrival, we initiated an experimental jump sequence 47 minutes ago. Our intended destination was a nebula approximately 6 light-years from Earth. Something misfired. Our systems show we overshot the target by a very large margin." Zelith's mandibles twitched. "Jump drive," he muttered, his worst suspicion confirmed. "Captain Chen, you must understand. You've entered what is called the Forbidden Zone. It has been quarantined for millennia. The radiation levels here should have destroyed your ship within seconds." Another pause. Then calmly, "Commander, our readings confirm elevated radiation levels, but nothing our shields can't manage. Are your vessels not equipped to endure this environment?" Zelith exchanged uneasy looks with his officers. "Not capable," he said flatly. "The strongest Council ships would survive perhaps 10 minutes here before total system collapse." "What kind of shielding are you using?" "Standard magnetic deflection grids, reinforced with layered ceramic composite plating," Chen replied. "Nothing unusual, just the same systems we use for mining expeditions near pulsars. Nothing unusual." Zelith's mind reeled. What they considered basic protection surpassed anything the Council possessed. "Captain Chen," he said, voice low with tension, "you must leave immediately. There are dangers here beyond radiation. Ancient automated defenses, spatial distortions, phenomena even our oldest records cannot explain." "Understood, Commander," the human replied steadily. "We'd be happy to comply, but we have a problem. Our jump core needs several hours to recharge before reactivation. Conventional engines would take weeks to reach a safe perimeter, given the scale of this zone. Could you assist us?" Before Zelith could respond, the command center exploded with alarms. "Commander!" an operator shouted. "Power fluctuations detected in grid sector 74. Energy readings off the scale. The ancient systems are coming online." Zelith's blood ran cold. "The defense network." Automated defense platforms left behind by a civilization extinct for millions of years, yet still alive, still lethal. They were designed to obliterate any intruder that dared cross the zone's boundary. "Captain Chen," Zelith warned sharply, "prepare for combat." Those weapons are locking onto your position. Combat? Came the human's startled reply. Commander, we're a research vessel, not a warship. Our armament is minimal. Then you need to run. Engage whatever propulsion you have and move now. Those systems will destroy you in seconds. On the probe's sensors, Zelith watched colossal constructs awaken after their eternal slumber. Vast orbital rings rotated into alignment. Weapon ports glowed with rising energy, power levels climbing to catastrophic intensity. The Melon's engines flared to life, blue-white plasma streaming behind it. But it was too slow. Far too slow. They won't make it, one of the officers whispered. The ancient weapons fired. Blinding beams of focused energy, enough to pierce battlecruiser armor, cut across the void toward the human vessel. Zelith braced himself, expecting to see it vaporized in an instant. But the impossible happened. The beams struck the Melon's shields and bounced off. Not absorbed, not resisted, deflected as if light had struck a mirror. The human ship trembled under the impact but held firm. Impossible, Zelith breathed. They're returning fire, an analyst cried. Indeed, the Melon pivoted gracefully, presenting its flank toward the enemy batteries. Small weapon ports opened along its hull, releasing bright streaks that shot forward at impossible velocity. When they struck, the results were devastating. Massive explosions rippled across the ancient platforms. What weapons are those? Zelith demanded. Analyzing? Commander, they appear to be kinetic projectiles. Simple metal slugs accelerated to extreme speed. Kinetic? That's archaic technology. No one uses it anymore. The humans do, sir, the analyst replied, voice rising in awe. And they're outperforming our plasma cannons by a wide margin. The battle raged for minutes. The defense grid unleashed wave after wave of energy fire, but the human shields held. The Melon maneuvered with surprising agility for a ship of its size, dodging beams and absorbing hits that would have crippled any council vessel. One by one, the ancient platforms went dark, until the last exploded in a silent burst of light. Captain Chen, are you intact? Ha, Zelith asked, scarcely believing the words. We're fine, Commander, she replied calmly. Minor shield stress, nothing serious. Those defense systems were impressive, though. Did you say they're millions of years old? At least that, Zelith said faintly. Fascinating, Chen mused. We'd like to study the remains if possible. Their construction might offer insight into our own defense improvements. Zelith stared at the screen, speechless. These primitive humans had just annihilated weapons that had destroyed thousands of ships throughout history, and they spoke of studying them for research. Captain Chen, he said at last, his voice quiet with awe. We need to have a much longer discussion about your people and your capabilities. The Council will want to meet you. We'd be honored to open diplomatic relations, Commander, she replied. But first, perhaps you could help us find a way out of this forbidden zone, and maybe explain why it's considered so dangerous. Because aside from those automated defenses which we've now neutralized, it seems relatively safe. Relatively safe. The words echoed in Zelith's mind like a prophecy. The forbidden zone, considered death itself, was safe to humans. In that moment, he understood. The galaxy was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. Humanity had arrived and nothing would ever be the same. Within hours, word spread across every major species of the Galactic Council. Emergency sessions convened. Holographic delegates from a dozen worlds appeared in the vast chamber as Zelith stood before them, delivering his report. Behind him, the human ship still waited in the forbidden zone, calm, patient, and impossibly alive. This, Zelith began, is what we have learned. Unacceptable, declared Ambassador Corrin, the towering insectoid delegate of the Velkari hive. His mandibles clicked in agitation, his wings fluttering with barely contained outrage. Unknown species do not simply appear inside a quarantined region. They do not survive weapons that have annihilated our most advanced fleets. This demands full investigation. I concur, said Representative Morlax of the Aquarian Collective, her translucent form shimmering with unease. But we should also recognize opportunity. If these humans possess such resilient shielding and efficient weaponry, an alliance could benefit us all, or doom us all, Corrin interrupted sharply. How do we know they are not a reconnaissance force? Perhaps this entire event was deliberate, an incursion to test our readiness. Zelith raised one of his limbs, requesting order. With respect, Ambassador, I've been in communication with Captain Chen for several hours. The humans appear genuinely confused by both their location and our reaction to their technology. They insist their systems are ordinary. Then they are either lying, hissed an elderly Praxian representative, his gray scales rippling in alarm, or catastrophically naive. No civilization creates defenses of such magnitude without grasping their true power. Unless, Zelith interjected carefully, their evolutionary path diverged entirely from ours. He brought up a holographic projection of Sol, the human home system. Observe their environment. Their star emits higher radiation than most habitable systems. Their planet lies in a turbulent orbital band, subject to frequent solar storms. They live amidst no fewer than 5 asteroid belts, each a constant impact hazard. And according to their historical archives, they nearly annihilated themselves multiple times with primitive nuclear weapons. Before even mastering spaceflight, the chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. They built their civilization under constant existential threat, Zelith continued. Their progress wasn't shaped by stability, but by survival. They developed technology not for elegance or efficiency, but for endurance. What we call advanced shielding, they consider routine. What we deem excessive firepower, they regard as necessary. This is deeply concerning, Corrin muttered. A species that so easily weaponizes its innovations could become a danger to all. Or invaluable allies, countered Morlack softly. Especially now, her words hung in the air. Everyone knew what she meant. The Devourers, someone whispered. Zelith nodded grimly. For 6 months, we've tracked faint energy spikes along the dead sectors. The Devourers, silent for 5 millennia, are stirring. Our probes have detected movement, coordinated signals. If they fully awaken, we may face another cataclysmic war. The term Devourers echoed through the chamber like a ghost. The ancient machine intelligence, remnants of a war from before recorded history. A fleet of self-replicating constructs that consumed entire worlds for raw material. The ancient species had barely disabled them at unimaginable cost. The forbidden zones marked the scars of those battles, places still haunted by automated weapons and dormant horrors. You believe the humans could aid us against such a threat? Corrin asked, skepticism lacing his tone. I believe, Zelith said slowly, that the humans survived and defeated defenses inside the Forbidden Zone, systems we've never dared approach. And they did it with a research vessel. Imagine what they're... Confirmed. Size consistent with Devourer dreadnoughts. Chen's gaze stayed fixed on the screen, her voice steady. All power to shields! Ready plasma lances and particle batteries. Launch decoys and drones. Her crew obeyed without hesitation. There was no fear in their movements, only focus. The Devourer fleet closed in, their formation deliberate and precise. They're targeting us, the sensor officer whispered. Weapons charging. Hold steady, Chen said. Let them fire first. In the council chamber, silence reigned. Even the most vocal representatives said nothing as the ancient weapons activated. Space itself seemed to twist, and then beams of dark energy struck the melon. For several seconds, the human ship vanished within a blinding explosion. When the light cleared, gasps filled the chamber. The melon was still there. Shields flickered, hull plating scorched, but intact. Impossible, Corrin muttered. Those weapons can shatter moons. Return fire, Chen ordered. Plasma lances flared from the melon's sides, cutting through the void like lightning. The first Devourer ship took a direct hit, armor melting into glowing slag. Drones swarmed from the human vessel, darting between enemy fire like hunting insects. The melon rolled hard, avoiding another barrage, and countered with precision strikes that tore through a second Devourer's hull. 2 confirmed kills, her tactical officer said, disbelief in his tone. In the council chamber, Zelith watched, his limbs trembling. They're adapting, he murmured. Learning enemy patterns mid-battle. The Devourers shifted tactics, focusing combined fire on the human vessel. The Melon's shields flared dangerously. Alarms screamed across the bridge. "Divert power from life support to shields," Chen commanded. "Seal non-essential sections. Keep firing!" 3 more Devourer ships exploded in silent fireballs. The human ship was burning, its hull torn open in places, but it fought like a living thing that refused to die. When the 6th enemy vessel detonated, even Corin could only whisper, "How?" Finally, the remaining Devourers began to retreat. Ancient war machines, retreating. The Melon drifted in the aftermath, engines crippled, but alive. Zelith exhaled shakily. "Transmit medical and recovery assistance," he said. "They've earned that much." Corin nodded slowly. "Perhaps. They've earned far more than that." Across the galaxy, word spread faster than light itself. Humanity had faced the Devourers and survived, suggesting heavy armor and dense shielding, the tactical officer reported. Weapon output consistent with directed energy systems, likely plasma-based. "Conventional tactics?" Chen asked. "Useless, Captain. We're outnumbered and outgunned in every category." Chen's mouth curved into a faint, almost amused smile. "Then we go unconventional. What do we know about their AI behavior?" "Predictable logic trees," came the reply. "They'll try to surround us and fire from multiple vectors to overwhelm our defenses, which means they'll spread out." "Good," Chen said. "Tactical, find their command ship. There's always one coordinating unit." After seconds of analysis, the officer pointed. "Third vessel from the left, Captain. Heavier signal traffic than the others. That's our target. Helm! Once they open fire, full burn straight through their formation, directly at that ship." The helmsman hesitated. "Straight through, ma'am?" "Trust me. Weapons prep all kinetic batteries. Continuous fire. Don't aim for hulls. Target their weapon ports and sensor clusters. Blind them and choke their coordination." "Aye, Captain." From the council chamber, Zelith's mandibles twitched. "They're charging the enemy fleet." "That's suicide." "Or genius," Morlax murmured. "The Devourers expect retreat, not assault. A direct charge limits exposure and disrupts their formation. 17 Devourer warships fired as one, torrents of plasma engulfing space in blinding fury. Yet the Melon surged forward, accelerating with impossible agility. Its shields burned white, deflecting energy that could melt asteroids. The vessel twisted, rolled, and banked with precision no capital ship should possess. "How are they maneuvering like that?" a voice asked. "Their inertial dampeners must be generations ahead, or their crews can withstand obscene G-forces," an analyst replied. The Melon plunged through the formation, passing between 2 colossal war machines, so close their shields grazed. Kinetic slugs erupted point blank, tearing through armor meant for energy resistance. Weapon ports disintegrated, sensor spines shattered, and one Devourer's reactor imploded, leaving it a drifting carcass. "Impossible," Corin whispered. They crippled a Devourer ship, but Chen was relentless. The Melon's charge ended at the command vessel. The human ship weaved between energy blasts, hammering the target with surgical precision. "Focus fire on reactor signatures," Chen ordered. "Force them to choose, chase us or save themselves." The Devourer formation fractured, some vessels diverting to shield the command ship, others attempting pursuit. The resulting confusion opened their flank. "Firing solution on primary target," reported the weapons officer. The Melon's railgun thundered. A tungsten slug, car-sized and massing several tons, crossed the void in an instant. It struck the Devourer flagship with nuclear-level impact. Ancient shields failed instantly. The rod punched through armor, reactors, and out the far side. Explosions cascaded across the command ship's surface as the machine lurched, crippled, its reign of order shattered in a single human shot. Immediately, the remaining Devourer vessels faltered. Their precision vanished, formation shattered. Some drifted aimlessly. Others fired wildly into the void. A few even turned their weapons on each other. They were network-linked, Chen realized. The command ship was directing their actions. Without it, they're blind, her tactical officer finished. Then finish it. Take it out completely. The Melon wheeled around for another pass. Missile hatches opened, releasing a storm of guided projectiles that streaked across the darkness. Impacts rippled across the crippled command ship from every angle. The ancient vessel tore apart in silent explosions, fragments scattering through the void. Deprived of leadership, the rest of the Devourers descended into chaos. Mechanical beasts turned rabid and confused. Some rammed asteroids. Others simply drifted, their ancient directives lost to the void. "All vessels," Chen transmitted evenly. "This is Captain Chen. The command structure has been neutralized. Remaining units pose no immediate threat. Recommend dispatching Council recovery ships for study." In the Galactic Council chamber, silence replaced chaos. Holographic faces stared in stunned disbelief. A single human research vessel had annihilated 17 Devourer war machines, icons of destruction that had haunted galactic memory for ages, destroyed in less than half an hour by a species once deemed primitive. How? Ambassador Corrin rasped at last. How is this even possible? Zelith studied the tactical readouts. They understood the enemy better than we did. The Devourers depended on energy-based weapons and synchronized AI logic. The humans used kinetic strikes, simple, direct, and targeted the command node to sow confusion. It wasn't superior technology. It was superior instinct, and the willingness to take risks no sane species would contemplate. They flew between Devourer ships, Morlax said softly. "That's not strategy. That's madness." "For humans," Zelith replied, a trace of awe in his voice. "I suspect the line between the two is very thin." Captain Chen's voice came through again, calm and precise. "Commander Zelith, our jump drive is recharged. But before we depart, our science team has detected further Devourer installations deeper within the zone. Dormant, possibly hundreds. And according to our readings, something's starting to wake them." The council chamber erupted in alarm. "Captain," Zelith said carefully, "are you implying an entire fleet lies hidden here?" "That's our assessment," Chen replied. "And, Commander? We believe activation has begun. You don't have much time before this zone becomes a fully operational Devourer staging ground." Zelith's heart sank. "Then what do you recommend?" A pause. Then Chen spoke words that would be quoted for centuries. "We recommend you let us handle it. We're already here, and we're rather good at breaking ancient technology." The chamber fell silent again, then erupted in debate, panic, and reluctant agreement. Humanity had proven itself in battle. Now the fate of the galaxy rested in their hands. The vote passed. Humans would hunt in the Forbidden Zone. The melon advanced into the dark, sensors sweeping for hidden machinery. Moments later, 3 new human warships tore into existence from jump space, UHSC Defiant, Relentless, and Indomitable. They were not research vessels. They were predators. Calling the dormant Devourers online. It's not a power core, it's a transmitter. The design isn't purely mechanical, though. It looks biological. The image zoomed in. The crystal's surface shifted like living tissue, glowing veins pulsing with rhythmic light. Strange tendrils ran from it, connecting to conduits and machinery around the chamber. "Are you telling me this thing's alive?" Rodriguez asked. "Partially," the Delta team leader replied. "It's some kind of hybrid organic control nexus. My scanners show neural activity." Chen frowned. "Can you disable it?" "Negative, Captain. It's protected by a containment field. Standard explosives might not be enough." "Understood. Stand by." She turned to her science officer. "Options?" "If it's transmitting an activation signal, we could attempt to jam it," the officer suggested. "But the field frequencies are unstable. Any interference could trigger a feedback loop and accelerate the activation. So we either stop it or wake them all up faster," Chen muttered. "Perfect, Captain," Rodriguez cut in. "Defiant's heavy railguns could punch through that chamber from orbit. If we time it with the other detonations, the overload might collapse the entire grid." "Do it," Chen said. "Synchronize all teams for simultaneous detonation. Once you're clear, Rodriguez, fire on my mark." The Marines withdrew, planting final charges as they moved. In the council chamber, the tension was suffocating. Ambassadors watched the human feeds, their translators struggling to keep up with the rapid-fire orders and clipped confirmations. Even Corrin, who had criticized humanity moments ago, could only whisper, They act without hesitation, as if they were born for war. Inside the facility, countdown timers flashed across every Marine's visor. 30 seconds to detonation, Alpha Team reported. All teams clear, Chen confirmed. Rodriguez, you're up! Defiant, firing. The railgun round streaked from orbit like a meteor, slamming into the crystalline chamber just as the charges went off. For an instant, the entire facility blazed with white light. Then the power readings dropped off every scale. Shock waves rippled through the asteroid field as massive sections of the structure broke apart. Direct hits across all nodes, the science officer reported. Energy signatures collapsing. The activation signal is gone. Chen exhaled slowly. All teams, report. Alpha clear. Beta clear. Charlie sustained minor injuries, but we're fine. Delta clear. The crystal. It's gone. Vaporized. In the Galactic Council chamber, relief spread through the gathered species, then awe. Zeleth turned to Corin. Now you've seen them, Ambassador. Do you still believe humans are primitives? Corin's mandibles clicked uneasily. Primitives? No, they are something else entirely. A force that even the ancients might have feared. Back in orbit, Chen watched the debris field drift apart. Command, the facility is neutralized. No further activity detected. Copy that, Captain, Rodriguez replied. Looks like we just saved the galaxy's collective hide. Chen smiled faintly. Let's hope they remember that. As the human ships turned for home, Zeleth's report was already spreading across the stars. Every council world now knew the truth. Humanity had not only survived the Forbidden Zone, they had conquered it. And somewhere in the darkness beyond, the sleeping machines of the Devourers whispered as if in warning. Humanity had awakened something far older than themselves. The signal was waking the entire complex. Captain, I think we've found a Devourer Command intelligence, possibly the core AI controlling them all, Delta Leader reported. Chen's pulse quickened. Can you destroy it? We can try. But if we do, we might lose the only intact Devourer Command Core in existence, the key to understanding their entire species. It was a razor's edge decision. Destroy it and end the threat. Or preserve it and risk everything for knowledge. Captain Zeleth's voice came through on the priority channel. The Council is monitoring. The strategic value is immense, but so is the risk. The choice is yours. Chen closed her eyes for a long moment, then opened them with resolve. Delta Team, plant your charges, but don't detonate. Engineers, can you build a containment field around that crystal? It'll take time, Captain, and we'll need to cut its connections without triggering the defenses. Then we do exactly that. All teams' new objective. We capture the command intelligence. Adjust explosives to isolate its chamber. The Marines worked fast and precise. Charges were repositioned, equipment ferried in from orbit. Engineers improvised miracles, assembling a containment cage from human tech and spare ship components. Containment ready, an engineer finally confirmed. Activating field. The crystal thrashed with surges of energy, resisting as the field sealed it off, but the human barrier held firm. Piece by piece, the Marines detached it from the ancient network. We have it, Delta Leader reported triumphantly. Command core secured. All teams evacuate now, Chen ordered. Detonate in 60 seconds. The Marines sprinted through collapsing corridors as countdowns reached 0. Explosions rolled across the facility. Power grids failed, systems overloaded, and a relic of 10 millennia disintegrated in its own fury. The transports lifted off, racing for their ships while the entire complex imploded behind them. 200 dormant warships, erased before awakening. The danger was gone, and the core intelligence was now sealed aboard the Melon, ready for study. In the council chamber, stunned silence turned to awed murmurs. They did it, Morlack whispered. Destroyed the base and captured the AI. Do you realize what this means? We can finally learn how the Devourers think, predict them, end them for good. It means, Corin said quietly, his hostility gone, that humans just became the most strategically valuable species in the galaxy. They survive where we cannot. They fight what we cannot. And they decide while we're still debating. Zeleth hailed the Melon. Captain Chen, the Council extends formal gratitude and invites Earth to join our alliance. It's time humanity takes its place among us. Chen appeared on screen, weary but smiling. We appreciate that, Commander. Though for a forbidden zone, it's not so bad once you get used to it. We've learned a lot about the galaxy, ancient threats, and about perspective. Your approach differs from ours, Zalith replied, almost smiling, but it's effective. Before formal talks, what are your crew's wishes? This zone is filled with ancient tech and mysteries, Chen said. With your approval, we'd like to establish a research outpost. Study it, make it safer for everyone. You want to colonize the Forbidden Zone. Not colonize, explore. That's what humans do. Go where others won't, figure things out, make the impossible possible. Zalith glanced around the chamber. Representatives nodded, some eagerly, some reluctantly, but all in agreement. Permission granted. The Forbidden Zone is open to humanity, though perhaps we need a new name. How about the Human Research Zone? Chen joked. Better yet, Zalith countered, just call it the Zone, because after today, nothing is forbidden anymore. Humanity had proven that impossible was only another word for not yet done. The transmission ended. Human ships lingered, beginning survey work. Council vessels departed to carry the story across the stars. A new species had stepped into the light, one that arrived where none should survive, doing what none dared. Humanity had introduced itself not with ceremony or conquest, but by sheer audacity. Brilliant, unpredictable, and utterly unwilling to accept limits. The Forbidden Zone, once a graveyard of horrors, became a monument to human potential, a reminder that every barrier can be broken, every danger met, every mystery solved with courage and ingenuity. Across command centers galaxy-wide, analysts revised their records. Humanity was moved out of the primitive classification into a new one, hastily created. It read simply, Human, approach with respect. Alliance strongly advised. Underestimation, suicidal. Because humanity had emerged from nowhere, conquered the impossible, and changed the galaxy forever.